All right, so the Fed has just cut rates for the first time in 4 years, and we are getting a ton of people reach out and be like, what is this going to do? Our mortgage rate's going to be going down. What's going to happen? Although this rate cut doesn't directly affect the mortgage rates, we do typically see a trend, right? Where when the Fed rates go down, then typically mortgage rates go down as well. And they're saying that what we're sitting at right now with our low sixes, this is essentially baked into the cake. They were expecting the Fed to do this. And so I'm going to dive in a little bit deeper into interest rates, the trends that we have been seeing in 2024 and where I think it might be going. But first, I want to talk about why I think it might be a great time to purchase a house right now so that you can avoid that huge buyer's market we might be experiencing either late this year or early next year. So if you want to get in a house and not have to compete with 10 other buyers, just like the markets that we've experienced so many times in the past, in the last like 5-10 years, then right now might be the time to purchase. I want to break into inventory numbers though. What are we looking at when we're talking about the listings, the amount of listings that are on the market currently? And I'm mainly going to be talking about the Denver metro area. So I'll be talking about the city of Denver and then a lot of these outlying counties based on a lot of Denver Metro Association Realtors numbers. What we're seeing with inventory, how many of them are new listings, how many of them are selling, how many of them are going under contract, because we look at these numbers a lot to kind of see where things might trend for the market to come. First, let's dive into Denver. So Denver, we'll dive into the numbers. All these numbers are based off of August of 2024, and we are going to be comparing them to August of 2023. The inventory in Denver as of August of 2024 is 1,490, and compared to 2023, that is up 22.4%. That means that there's 22.4% more active listings of inventory as compared to 2023. That's only one number though. We need to make sure that we look at all these numbers to see what kind of story we are being told from these listing numbers. How many of those went under contract in 2024 as compared to 2023? We are looking at a number of 542, and that number is up 15.8% from 2023. Again, we will see if this is trending with how we are seeing interest rates and what they are currently doing in their downward trend. But ultimately, I want to look at this and kind of see, because a lot of times when you're out there shopping, you're like, man, there's just not that many houses out there. I want to buy what I want, but I'm not seeing what I want because there's not too many houses. And that's why we really want to break into this number. Are there enough listings out there for any of you buyers looking to move into the Denver metro area to really start to get serious about purchasing a home? Of those active listings in August of 2024, 758 of them were new listings, brand new listings that hit the market in 2024. And that number is also up 7.8% comparing to August of 2023. So it's showing that sellers are feeling a little bit more comfortable kind of throwing their house on the market, which is a good sign, because with the high interest rates, we saw many times where a lot of sellers are like, you know what, okay, if I sell my house right now, the interest rates are high, so if I go to purchase something elsewhere, if I'm not just using cash, I'm not gonna be able to buy anything because I'm locked into this awesome rate where I'm currently at. And then if we look at those sold listings, the number of listings that actually sold in October of 2024, that number is 546, and that number is still up 5.4% comparing to 2023. So we are seeing this kind of, okay, so I forgot to mention these first numbers that I am mentioning are going to be your single family. I'm trying to debate whether or not I'm going to dive into you know what, screw it. I mean, not everyone is looking for a single family house. Some of you might be looking for a condo, townhouse, and row home. So I will break into those numbers as well too to see what those are trending right now. But we are showing for the city of Denver that all these numbers are up. The question though is, we're talking about the Denver metro. So what are we looking at with a few of those counties? Make sure you stick around, because I am going to be diving into some of the major counties that are in the Denver metro area to see where those numbers stand in regards to the number of listings on the market, selling the market, going under contract, all the good things. All right, let's go and dive into those attached or those townhouses and condos. What are those numbers looking like? So in August of 2024, there was 1,484 active listings on this attached product, and that number is up 30.2% from 2023. So we are showing that we are showing more listings, but here's the interesting part is only 335 of those actually went under contract, and that number is down 9.85%. So initially looking at that, I'd be thinking to myself, okay, obviously what's happening right now is the sellers might be getting a little overly excited in regards to wanting to sell their house and then purchase something elsewhere. But that's not quite the case, because when we also look at those new listings of these attached products, that number is also down negative 0.2%. And then the number of sold listings of these attached products is actually down 30.5% from 2023. So these attached products are not doing as good as your single family products, which when we had higher interest rates, we've pretty much seen that flipped, because a lot of people are like, you know, with the higher interest rates, I might have to bring my price point down a little bit, and that brought them more into these attached, these townhouse condo products, where now it's kind of flipping a little bit as we see these interest rates go down more and more. So we covered Denver. Let's go ahead and start digging into a few of these counties surrounding. So the first one that we are going to be doing is Arapahoe County. Diving into the numbers on your single family. So inventory of active listings, we're sitting at 1,234, and that number is up 16.5% from 2023. So still more listings are sitting on the market in Arapahoe County. And then if we look at under contract, how many homes actually went under contract, you're looking at 533, and that number is up 11.3% from 2023. So we are showing that more properties are going under contract. The number of sold listings though is actually down negative 5.6% at 518 homes that sold in your single family in Arapahoe County. Another quick note on this. So typically August, when we look at it, is a down month, right? And so we're comparing two different numbers, because we're looking at when we compare your under contract to the number of properties that sold in August. If August is a down month, you're not going to sell as much. But those under contract numbers will then go over into our September numbers, typically, because when we have a closing, you're looking at 30 to 45 days. So depending on when they got under contract and what was in that contract in regards to the number of days that they were going to close, we will see if that creates more of a positive number on our sold listings in September. Let's go ahead and break into your attached products now. We're talking about your townhouses and condos over in Arapahoe County. Inventory of active listings is 760, and that number is up 58.3% from 2023. So this is a good number right here. We are showing that we have more active listings on the market as compared to 2023. The under contract was down though, and it was down negative 10.4%, sitting at 225 properties that went under contract. And of course, this is compared to 2023. Also, the sold listings was definitely down on these attached products in Arapahoe County, looking at 234 of these properties that sold, and that number was down 20.1%. You might be thinking to yourself, because the title of this video is whether or not you should purchase now. This sounds like a market video. I don't know what you're getting at, Pete. We need to make sure that we look at all these numbers and look for trends, look at different instances where we know, hey, when we had low interest rates, a lot of people were buying houses. That's when we had a huge buyer's market. That was a trend that we did see. So now we're looking at it, it's like, with interest rates trending down, what are these numbers doing? The Fed just announced this is September. These numbers are August. So we're doing our best to see what these trends look like to prepare you guys as much as possible, because when you decide to pull the trigger and purchase a home within the Denver metro area, we want to make sure that you're prepared and potentially not having to get into those buying in those bidding wars, because that is a headache. I will tell you firsthand, me personally, I do not like those markets whatsoever. I like more of a steady market where when we get in, the property's been on, maybe a week or two or something like that. We have power as buyers to be able to negotiate a little bit, and we're not sitting here trying to compete. We're not coming in with an offer that's $10, $50, $100,000. I mean, I don't think we're gonna get to that point of $100,000 over again. We'd have to have those interest rates down to the high twos, I think, in order to do that. But we did have that market where you were having to come in way more. Even right now, when we have those high interest rates, you aren't typically having to go in on a house more than what the list price is. And sometimes we are able to get you below that list price, saving money on that ultimate price. And then if you have a higher interest rate, guess what? You could always refinance. Again, I'm going to get more into those interest rates toward the latter portion of this video, but I want to make sure I go over these numbers so we kind of see what we're talking about, especially if you have an area in mind that you're thinking about. It's like, hey, it looks like there's a lot of listings in that area. Not too much is selling, so I might have some great buying power in regards to throwing an offer in on a house. All right, let's go and get through this. I know this is a bunch of numbers. I typically like showing you guys the landscapes, the different areas, the cities, but this stuff is super important if you are planning on purchasing real estate in the state of Colorado. Next county we're going to be going over to is Douglas County. What are the main cities that we talk about in Douglas County? We're talking about Parker, Castle Rock, even portions of Littleton, Highlands Ranch. These are all going to be Douglas County. So let's go ahead and just dig straight into the numbers. First ones is going to be for the single family in Douglas County. The inventory of active listings sits at 1,415, and that number is up 29.6% compared to 2023. Great number right there if you are looking at a variety of houses to look at. If we look at the number that are under contract, you're looking at 466, and that number is up 8.6% compared to 2023. How many sold listings are we looking at though? You're looking at a number of 469, and that number is down negative 0.2%. So it's pretty much like I said, anytime, and I've mentioned this multiple times, I see a number that is under 1, I say it's pretty much level, right? And so it's pretty much just a wash comparing 2023 over into 2024 on the amount of listings that sold in August. Let's break into those attached products now. So inventory of active listings of your attached products is going to be 224, and that is up 21.1% compared to 2023. If we look at the number of under contract, it's going to be 85 properties, and that number is up 7.6%. If we look at the number of properties sold for those attached products, you're looking at 63, and that number is down 46.2%. So it's crazy to see these numbers doing this. I'm super interested to see what September does. I'm gonna hurry up and try and get through this real quick. So I got 2 counties left, and majority of it is gonna be focusing more on kind of your northern Denver metro, even like the western Denver metro area. Before I do that though, guys, if you are looking at purchasing real estate, want to take advantage of this market and see if it is the best time to purchase, give us a call or text at that phone number right below. Right there, we have assembled the best team to help you out with all your real estate needs. But if you're not quite ready to purchase, make sure you follow along. Educate yourself on all the latest stuff coming. We're talking about the market, the new developments, anything like that that's happening in these cities by smashing that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up and notification bell. That way you're notified every single time that we put out a brand new video. Next county we will be covering is Jefferson County. What are we talking about with Jefferson County? So portions of Littleton, we're talking about Arvada, Lakewood, even up into Evergreen. This is gonna kind of pretty much be your western and your northwestern portion of the Denver metro area. Breaking into that single family, the inventory of active listings was 1,213, and that was up 31.3% compared to 2023. If we look at the under contract, that number is at 563. That number was also up 21.1%. And we have a different number here. So the number of sold listings is actually in the green, where we're looking at a number of sold listings at 561. And that number was up 12.7%. So we're seeing something here, right? So the other 2 counties that we were talking about, those were in the negative. Denver was a little bit in the positive, but this one is even more in the positive when we are talking about the number of sold listings. Breaking into the attached, when we're talking about Jefferson County, inventory of active listings was at 414. That number was up 43.8%. If we look at the under contract, that number is at 205. And that number is up 4.1%. If we look at the sold listings, it is at 199, and that number is at 3.6%. Quick note on this before I break into the next county, guys, is we are seeing a lot of you guys interested in Jefferson County. You're looking at the light rail station, how it is kind of on that western portion of the Denver metro area. You want to take advantage of those areas. And then also you just want to be close to the mountains. When we are talking about Jefferson County, you are right up against the foothills, even going into the foothills when we are talking about this area, and you guys are excited about it. You're always asking us about it. And so I think that's why we are seeing these numbers for Jefferson County. The last and final county that I am going to be talking about before digging into these interest rates a little bit more is going to be Adams County. When we're talking about Adams County, we're pretty much talking about Westminster, Thornton, Commerce City, North Glen, like pretty much this northern Denver metro area that we talk about all the freaking time. Let's see what these numbers look like though compared to these other 3 counties. And so the inventory of active listings is at 1,226, and that is up 5% compared to 2023. Again, these first numbers are going to be for your single family products. If we look at the under contracts, it's at 497, and that is up 12.2%. And then if we look at the number of sold listings, it is at 473, and that is negative 0.6%. So again, I just may say that that's just a wash. It's pretty much level comparing 2023 over into 2024. breaking into your attached products. I'm almost there. I'm getting a little winded talking like this, but here we go. Let's go ahead and break into your attached products. Let's get this over with. That way we can break into the interest rates. I'm sure that's what you guys really want to see. So the inventory of active listings on your attached products, townhouses and condos, 274, and that number is up 18.1%. If we look at the under contracts, it was at 109, and that number is up 1.9%. If we look at your sold listings, it was at 91, and that number is negative 30.5%. So it looks like we only had the city of Denver and then Jefferson County are the only two areas that we did cover that were positive when we were talking about the sold listings comparing year over year. There is one more thing that I really wanted to go over. I wanted to talk to you guys about 3 different numbers when we are talking about these active listings now. These charts are pretty much going to be showing the whole state of Colorado, the number of active listings based on a month. And I think we went all the way back to 2016. So we're comparing 2016 all the way up to now. Between this time frame, so this 8 years that we are going to be talking about, there was pretty much 3 high points that I really wanted to highlight. And so if we look at like August of 2016, we had 24,837 active listings on the market. The next high point was going to be July of 2019, where that peaked out at 24,928 listings, and we just peaked again since 2019. August 2024 at 24,594. I just wanted to highlight those 3 peaks just to kind of show. And when you look at these charts, you see how it kind of ebb and flows, right? And so a lot of times we'll see, you know, like January is kind of like the bottom, then it goes up, and like you got July, and then it goes down to January. That's what you see a lot when you look at these charts. So there's one low point though. It's pretty much January of 2022 where the inventory was super low. And like outside of just being January, because we see, you know, typically inventory is really low in January. Why was that so low? Well, guess what? The average weekly interest rates of the week of January 6th of 2022 was at 3.22%. And then after that, we saw how interest rates started to go up. So let's talk about, so this year in 2024, the high point when we are talking about these interest rates, your mortgage interest rates, the high point of this year was May 2nd of 2024. And that high point, the weekly average was 7.22%. Quick note, all these numbers are taken directly from Freddie Mac, just so you know where I'm pulling these numbers from. And now we just hit a low for the average weekly, interest rate at a 6.09%. Okay. How do we tie this all in? So looking at all these numbers, you threw a bunch of numbers at me. What are you trying to tell me right now? Here's what I'm seeing. And Chelsea and I, like I said, we are actively always looking for more properties to purchase. We are investors. I know this isn't the same for you. You are looking to buy your next home. Here's the obstacles that we're running into, right? And so you have a higher interest rate. We are not looking at those 3s and even 2s that we saw back when the market was crazy hot or anything like that. But interest rates are going down. From the people that we talk to on a constant basis, this is one of the main reasons where you guys are holding off, where you're telling us, hey, you know what? I want to see what happens to the interest rates. Maybe let's look at the, spring of 2025 or something like that. And I guarantee that we are not the only agents getting told this. We're not the only agents here in our buyers saying, I'm waiting for rates to lower. Because when you have that, that's when you get buyers flooding the market. When you have buyers flooding the market, that's what creates those bidding wars, those buying wars, where you are having to go in more than the list price in order to beat out the other buyers for these properties. And so it is right now the best time to purchase. We talk about this all the time. I'm always like, I'm a nerd about this. I'm always like listening to like different gurus and what they're saying about everything. And it was funny, I was listening to this guy this other day. He's like, real estate agents, all they want to do is make up stories for when's the best time to purchase. You could do this now or this and that, take advantage of the lower interest rates now. And then when interest rates are high, it's like, buy it now. And then you can just refi later. It's ultimately up to you guys. If you in your budget is steadfast on, we need to make sure that the interest rates are lower so that we can purchase at the price that we want to, that's great. That's for you guys. So this isn't going to be, yes, right now is a perfect time to buy a universal theme for anyone who's watching this video right now. It's just painting out the scenario. So right now we're at the low 6s. I guarantee you from everything that I am hearing from the people that I currently talk to, all the clients that we talk to, once we dip into the 5s, the mid and low 5s, if that does happen, watch out. It is going to be crazy. And I see us having another bidding war, another buyer's war, where everyone is going to be flooding the market in order to take advantage of these interest rates. So right now, we have high inventory, right? And so we have a bunch of products out there that you can choose from, but the interest rates are low sixes. I mean, it's not the 7.22 that we saw back in May of this year, but they're lower, you know, but I guarantee once it breaks that threshold, getting right past the high fives down into the mid and low fives, if it does happen, it's gonna be chaos. That's just what I personally think. I've been in the real estate industry a little over 10 years as a licensed realtor, and I've seen how this goes down when we are talking about these bidding wars. It is not enjoyable at all when we are talking about purchasing a house when you are competing with a bunch of other buyers. And so it's ultimately up to you guys. If you are waiting for the interest rates to go down, just know that you might encounter those bidding wars if the interest rates do drop that low. And then the other option is if you purchase right now, yes, the interest rate, you know, it's not as high as 7.22. It's not as low as you want it to be, but 6 months from now, say if we dip down into the low fives when we're talking about interest rates, just refi. The rule of thumb that we typically use when we talk about refining your property is don't do it unless you could save yourself a full point, a full percentage point. So for instance, it's like, say if you're at a 6.5% when you purchase, if those interest rates come down and you can get a 5.5%, then it is worth the money, the closing costs, in order to refinance that property to bring your monthly payment down a little bit. Thank you so much for watching, guys. That was a lot. I'm gonna need a drink of water after that one. Just spewing numbers and everything. Thank you so much. If you are looking at purchasing real estate in the state of Colorado, give our team a call or text at that phone number right below. Right below there, we always answer. It doesn't matter date or time, but if you're not quite ready to purchase, make sure you follow along. Educate yourself on the latest coming into Colorado by smashing that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up, notification bell. That way you're notified every single time that we put out a brand new video. Till next time, love ya.